What's the hardest thing about writing? Well, it's getting started. Maybe you're having a hard time coming up with a story idea, or you're stuck on where to take your story next. If you want a way into a story or a way through, I have 9 story starters to help you. This free PDF is full of story seeds and prompts to get you going. To download your 9 story starters, go to nancypanuccio.com/start. That's Nancy with an I, Panuccio with 2 C's, nancypanuccio.com/start. A plot twist should be logical and relevant to your main plot. It's all about what you withhold from the reader when you reveal it and the clues and hints you drop prior to the reveal. Writer Unleashed is for you, a writer who has a story you want to bring onto the page and into the hearts and minds of readers. I'm Nancy Panuccio, writer, editor, and writing coach. And each week, we'll explore techniques, mindsets, and inspiration for writing stories readers can't put down. Thanks for spending some time with me today. Now let's begin. In today's episode, we're going to talk about plot twists. First, what is a plot twist? A plot twist is a significant change, revelation, or development in your story that contradicts or alters the reader or the viewer's expectations about the direction of the story, or their assumptions about what happened before. So it's a significant moment that spins the course of the story in another direction. It intensifies or introduces a new conflict, a new revelation. But what makes it a plot twist is that it subverts readers' expectations. The reader thought the story was going in this direction, and now it's going in this direction. Or they thought the story would resolve one way, and it resolves this way. So it's an unexpected turn. It's unpredictable. It's surprising, but it feels inevitable in hindsight. It's a revelation or development that the reader didn't see coming. It makes them reconsider what happened earlier. It's a sudden and unexpected change in the direction or outcome of the story that surprises, thrills, and challenges the reader's assumptions about the story. So plot twists can be thrilling, they're exciting, and they're unforgettable. They can add suspense and emotional impact, but they can also backfire if they're not carefully crafted. So in this episode, we'll talk about how to craft a plot twist and what to avoid. But before we do that, let's talk about some examples of plot twists and where they're placed in the story. A plot twist could come at the end of the story, the final scene. The Sixth Sense has an unforgettable plot twist ending that makes you want to rewatch it to see how your assumptions were thwarted. In the final scene, we learn that the main character, Malcolm, has been dead the entire story. We learn it as he learns it. It's a classic plot twist. A plot twist could come in the climax scene. For example, in the movie The Others, we spend the whole movie believing that the house Grace and her 2 children live in is haunted by ghosts, what she calls the intruders. And then in a twist, we learn, as she does, that she and her children are the ghosts and the intruders are the people now living in the house. Grace and her children are the ghosts haunting them. She believes she and her children are alive, and because we're experiencing the action through her, we believe the house is haunted until the penultimate scene where we learn she and her children and her servants are the ghosts haunting the family who now lives there. It's a reversal in what we've come to expect. Now, there's a twist that comes before that, but this is a misdirect, and I'll get to that later. A plot twist could also be the inciting incident, so it could come at the end of Act 1. For example, in the movie The Disappearance of Alice Creed, the film starts out with these two men. They're ex-cons, and we see them very meticulously creating this soundproof room. They put a bed in it. They put in soundproofing panels. Very, very meticulous. We don't know why they're doing or what they're up to. And then they get back in their truck and they're waiting. And then they put on their masks to hide their identity. And then we learn that they're kidnapping a young girl. She's about 21. Her name is Alice, who's from a very wealthy family. And Vic and Danny are planning to make millions from her father as ransom. So they bring her to this apartment. They put her in the soundproof room, and they refuse to let her out of her shackles. She can't even go to the toilet. It's a very tense scene. And Danny, the younger of the two, is less calm. He seems more on edge. So Vic, the older guy, leaves to make preparations while Danny guards Alice. So Alice persuades Danny to uncuff her. She then grabs his pistol and fires a warning shot. To keep from being shot, Danny removes his ski mask and reveals he is her former lover. So now the story turns. It's a great plot twist because we didn't see this coming. It was a surprise. We see him lusting after her a bit when he's alone in the room with her, and that creates tension. But once we learn that he's her ex-boyfriend, it takes the story in a new direction, and now we know that she has the upper hand. And this spins the whole tale in a very different direction. It's a great plot twist. Okay, let's look at the techniques that make these plot twists effective. Number one, they foreshadow. The best plot twists are very artfully foreshadowed. They're not always immediately apparent, but a well-executed plot twist will have subtle hints or foreshadowing early in the story that become clear in retrospect. So you want to plant clues enough that readers will be surprised, but not think, well, where did that come from? You also want to avoid giving too much away so that the reader anticipates what's coming. It shouldn't be a foregone conclusion. It shouldn't be obvious. You never want a reader to say, well, I saw that coming. But the reader should be able to say, oh, of course. It feels surprising and at the same time, in hindsight, inevitable. So they'll recognize the signs and hints looking back. For example, The Sixth Sense. This is about a child psychologist, Malcolm, and his patient, Cole. He's a young boy. Now, the first time I saw it, I bought into the idea that Malcolm was alive the whole time. I saw him eating at the restaurant with his wife. I saw him sitting in the living room with the boy and his mother. And when I watched it again, I was like, oh, of course. How did I miss that? So the director planted hints throughout the movie about Malcolm's fate. But those hints were so skillfully orchestrated, I had to watch the movie again to recognize them. Now, the first thing he did was establish the rules that make the twist logical. Cole says he sees dead people, and the ghosts in the world of this story don't know they're dead. There were also subtle details. His clothes remain the same, for example. But In the scenes with other characters, no one is actually interacting with him. In the restaurant scene, his wife is looking blankly. She looks unhappy. He was late. But when you look back on that scene, he's the only one who's talking. His wife isn't even looking at him. Now, we think she's just pissed off, but she's actually grieving. His wife pays the check and says, "Happy anniversary." She's grieving. The only person who interacts with him is Cole, the kid who sees dead people. Malcolm didn't know he was dead, so I didn't know he was dead until the very end. But in retrospect, the clues were there the whole time. So if you have a plot twist at the end, you want to work your way backwards. You know the twist, so you can plant the clues. But you don't want to give it all away. Okay, on to number 2. Use misdirection. It's like a magic trick. The Sixth Sense uses misdirection. For example, right after we see Malcolm get shot, we don't see the extent of his injuries. He's on the bed. We don't see the blood, and his wife is reassuring him that he'll be okay. She'll call the ambulance. The next shot is 1 year later. We see him walking the streets of Philadelphia, where he meets young Cole. We return to the first scene at the end, and we see what we didn't see in the opening scene. The others uses misdirection when Grace finds pictures of the dead and sees her 3 servants in the pictures. So now we're thinking, oh, okay, of course, there was something weird about them to begin with, something that we didn't quite trust. So now we're thinking, okay, those are the ghosts that are in the house. Okay, on to number 3. It has to be logical. It should be integral to your plot. Don't rely on coincidence. A plot twist does not come out of left field. That's not a plot twist. For example, if we learn towards the end of the story that Janet's father is not Phil, it's actually another character, Lance, that's not a twist, unless there were clues all along. A plot twist that's thrown in just for the sake of inserting a twist doesn't surprise the reader at all. Their reaction is likely to be, wait a minute, where did that come from? So don't rely on coincidence. The twist must make sense or readers won't buy it. So don't stretch credibility. You want to avoid coincidences or anything out of the blue that doesn't make logical sense to your plot. Now, one way to avoid the obvious coincidence is to avoid common tropes. For example, the just a dream trope. Back in the 80s, there was a nighttime soap opera called Dallas. There was a lot of drama and women fighting and pulling hair and throwing each other down staircases. Really awful soap opera melodrama about ridiculously wealthy people. And in one of the later seasons, the final episode, one of the characters, Bobby, was killed. That's how that season ends, a cliffhanger. Now, the next season, the premiere episode begins with the wife, Pamela, waking up from this lengthy dream where her husband, Bobby, was killed. So she wakes up and her husband's in the shower like nothing ever happened, thus explaining that the entire previous season was a figment of Pamela's imagination. It negated the entire previous season. That is not a plot twist because there's no logic to it. Nothing even close to hints that it never happened, that it was all a dream. So avoid things like it was just a dream trope. That's not a plot twist. A plot twist should be logical and relevant to your main plot. It's all about what you withhold from the reader when you reveal it and the clues and hints you drop prior to the reveal. So the next question is, how many plot twists should your story have? Now, not all stories need a plot twist. Turning points, yes, but not all stories benefit from a plot twist. A plot twist is a turning point, but The crucial difference is that a turning point is an event or character decision that pivots the direction of the story. Every story needs them. A plot twist is a turning point for both character and reader. It's an unexpected development or revelation that forces readers or viewers to redirect their expectations and assumptions. A plot twist is integral to the story and enhances the story and the reader's experience. It shouldn't be something you add for the sake of surprise, so don't overdo it. Focus on one, maybe two, and make sure they're well executed and well timed. Okay, let's recap. A plot twist is a significant change, revelation, or development in the story that subverts readers' expectations and challenges their assumptions. It's unpredictable, it's surprising, but it feels inevitable in retrospect. A plot twist could be the very end of the story. It could come right before the end, before the final resolution. It could also come at the end of Act 1. It's a turning point, but what makes it a twist is that it reverses the reader's expectations about what happened prior. When plot twists are not executed correctly, they can backfire. So here are the 3 points you want to keep in mind. Number 1, foreshadow. You want to drop clues before, but not too many that the reader isn't surprised when they get to the twist. Number 2, use subtle misdirection. The reader is led to believe that the story is going in one direction, and then the plot twist torques it in another direction. And number 3, it's got to be logical. It should be integral to your plot, so don't rely on coincidence. A plot twist is a story technique that keeps the reader intrigued in the story. It keeps them in suspense. It keeps them curious and emotionally involved. They're dying to know what's next, and it intensifies the reader's experience, and it makes your story unforgettable. So there you have it. Thanks for hanging out with me today. And if you know any writers who need some support in their writing, please share this episode or the Writer Unleashed podcast in general. And if you love what you're listening to, subscribe on your favorite listening platform and please leave me a review. Reading how this podcast impacts your writing truly lights me up and helps me create topics for the show. Till next time, keep writing, and I'll talk to you soon.